Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a fascinating and honestly kind of literal physical brick wall that humanity is about to crash into. You see, for decades now, our technological progress has been defined by making things smaller and faster. But what happens when our traditional technology hits the absolute limit of physics? Well, that is exactly the boundary we're approaching right now. We are going to zoom all the way down to the level of single atoms to understand the incredibly strange, almost magical world of quantum computing.
To get us there without getting lost in the physics jargon, here's our roadmap. We're going to cover the limits of human tech, the problem with shrinking transistors, bits versus qubits, superposition and entanglement, how these quantum computers actually work, and finally, some incredible real-world applications.
Section 1. The limits of human tech.
So for the vast majority of our history, human technology was basically just our brains, fire, and some sharp sticks. But the biggest upgrade we've ever made hasn't been to our physical tools at all, it's been to our brain machines. Since the 1960s, the power of computers has grown exponentially. We've essentially been making these computer brains smaller and vastly more powerful at the exact same time. But if you look at the near future part of the timeline, this incredible era of progress is about to slam into a microscopic barrier. We are fast approaching the physical limits of atoms themselves.
Let's look at how this builds on a really basic concept. What is a computer, really? At its core, it's just a bunch of tiny electronic switches called transistors. These switches do one simple thing. They either block electricity or let it through. That represents information as bits, which you know as zeros and ones. Think of a single transistor like a 7-year-old child doing incredibly simple first-grade math. One 7-year-old, well, they can't do much on their own, but if you have an army of billions of 7-year-olds, all answering basic yes or no math questions together in perfect, rapid coordination, they can compute anything from complex astrophysics to rendering a massive video game like Zelda.
Section 2. The problem with shrinking transistors.
14 nanometers. That is the typical, unimaginably tiny scale of a modern transistor switch inside the computer or smartphone you are probably using right now.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the mind-blowing scale shift. Just to put 14 nanometers into perspective, a transistor is 8 times smaller than the HIV virus. It is literally 500 times smaller than a single red blood cell. We are currently building billions of these complex microscopic switches on computer chips the size of your fingernail. And the crazy part is, we're trying to shrink them even further, down to the size of just a handful of atoms.
But here is where we hit that brick wall I mentioned. As these switches shrink down to the size of atoms, the predictable physics we rely on simply breaks down. We encounter a weird phenomenon called quantum tunneling. Remember, a transistor is basically just a switch that blocks electrons. But when the switch wall is only a few atoms thick, the electrons stop behaving like solid physical objects and start behaving like probabilities. They literally teleport or tunnel to the exact other side of the blocked passage. So traditional computers just stop making sense at this scale because the switches literally can't stop the electricity anymore.
Section 3. Bits versus qubits.
This brings us to the hero of our story, the quantum computer, which takes this tunneling problem and flips it into a brilliant solution. Normal computers use bits. A bit is strictly a 0 or a 1. Think of it like a coin lying flat on a table. It is absolutely either heads or tails. Quantum computers, on the other hand, use qubits. A qubit can be a tiny physical thing, like the horizontal or vertical polarization of a single photon of light. But here's the absolute magic of it. A qubit can be set to proportions of both states at once. It's not a coin lying flat, it's a coin spinning in the air. While it's spinning, it isn't strictly heads or tails, right? It's a rapid blur of both at the exact same time.
Section 4. Superposition and entanglement.
Okay, let's break down the two core concepts of this quantum magic, starting with superposition. This simply means existing in a mix of probabilities all at once until it's observed. Think of our spinning coin again. As long as nobody looks at it, the qubit is in a superposition. It's a literal blur of probabilities for being both 0 and 1. But the instant you test its value, the exact instant you slap your hand down on that spinning coin to look at it, it is forced to decide. It collapses instantly into one definite state, becoming either a strict 0 or a strict 1.
And this brilliantly illustrates why superposition is a total game changer. 4 classical bits can be arranged in 16 possible combinations, sure, but they can only ever be in one of those combinations at any given time.
Now compare that to 4 qubits in superposition. They are existing in all 16 combinations at the exact same time, and this scales up exponentially. Just 20 qubits can hold 1,000,000 different values in parallel. It's absolutely wild.
The second quantum magic trick is entanglement. This is a weird, totally unintuitive property where qubits share a super close connection. If you change one, its partner reacts instantaneously, no matter how far apart they are in the universe. Imagine two magical connected envelopes. If you open one envelope here in New York and the card inside says blue, you know instantaneously that the connected envelope over in Tokyo will say red without anyone even having to look at it. Measuring one entangled qubit lets you instantly deduce the exact properties of its partner.
Section 5. How quantum computers work.
So how do we actually use this to do math? Here is the three-step process of a quantum calculation. Step 1. You set up some qubits into superposition. Basically, you spin the coins. Step 2. You apply quantum gates. Unlike normal gates that just say a simple yes or no, quantum gates entangle the qubits and rotate their probabilities. They manipulate that blur of the spinning coins so that the right answers become mathematically more likely and the wrong answers literally cancel each other out. And because of superposition, you're running all the possible calculations simultaneously. Finally, step 3, you measure the outcome. You slap your hand down on the coins, collapsing them out of their blur into actual zeros and ones. You check your result, and because of how you manipulated the probabilities, you get your highly complex answer exponentially faster than a normal computer ever could.
Section 6. Real-world quantum applications.
So the crucial point here is, why does this matter for the real world? Well, in specific, high-stakes areas, quantum computers are vastly superior. They'll be able to search massive databases in just a fraction of the time. They can simulate literal quantum physics, like mapping highly complex molecules and proteins with total accuracy, which could completely revolutionize medicine and drug discovery. And, perhaps most famously, they are poised to absolutely ruin modern IT security.
Let's look at that security aspect a bit closer, because it's a huge deal. Right now, your emails, your banking data, basically everything on the internet is protected by public key encryption. The math keeping your private key safe is so difficult that a normal computer would literally take years of blind trial and error to crack it, just guessing one combination at a time. But a quantum computer? Testing all the combinations at once through superposition, it could crack that exact same encryption in an absolute breeze. That exponential speed-up is both an incredible miracle for science and a massive threat to global security.
Which leaves us with a massive, provocative question. Are quantum computers just going to be a specialized tool for scientists, or are they the next major revolution for humanity? As we finally reach the physical limits of our traditional atoms, we're opening a door to a whole new realm of physics. We honestly have no idea where the true limits of technology lie, and, well, there's only one way to find out. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this helped clear up the quantum blur for you.